A long time ago, on a comics page far, far away. Greetings and welcome to May the Panel Be With You, the Star Wars comic book show brought to you by the Punch-Up Entertainment Network. I'm your humble host, Mike Gargoni, and joining me, as always, the senator to my rebel, it's John Campbell.
Hello, everybody. Oh, choices, Gargoni. This episode is all about choices, so they tell me.
I mean, look, a constant refrain over on my other show, Material Components, is that life is all about choices, and all of that is typified in this singular issue of Star Wars comics. No, not really. I'm sorry. Look, I like this issue, but it is trying to, encapsulate a lot of stuff that we've been talking around by just saying it at our faces.
Yes, I would say that's exactly it. This feels like we've gotten letters asking us to address certain things, and we're going to do it all in one go.
Yeah, we are covering issue number 90 of the original Marvel Star Wars comic. This issue was published in December of 1984. We have a very familiar creative team, as we've seen before. We got Joe Duffy on writing. We've got Tom Palmer on inks. We've got Bob McLeod on pencils, Bob Sharon on colors, and the usual editing crew that we've seen the last few times. An Ann Nesenti, who is, of course, a recent addition, and a Jay Shooter here. We call him Jay around the office.
Hey, just call me Jay Shooter. Oh, Jimmy Shooter.
Jimmy Shoots.
Yeah. That's what they call me back on the blacktop, Jimmy Shoots.
This is sort of a culmination issue because we've sort of been meandering around with little side stories for the last little while this of the post Return of the Jedi era. So now we get to do a character development issue, and I think it has some good moments, but it's ultimately
I like what it's trying to do.
Yeah. Like so much of this comic.
Yes, I applaud the effort on this one because this is trying to get into some of the headier issues we've been talking about. Because the whole post-Return of the Jedi comic has been, as it should be, and even more so, it actually should be. So you've won the war. What do you do now?
Right. And we start digging into that here in some ways that are both good, but also especially how this issue ends makes me go. Yeah. And so
yeah. I mean, it's just they just aren't. I mean, there's a limit to the sophistication of this comic, right? It just feels like we're hitting a wall, and I don't know if that's an unwillingness or the audience they think it's for, or it's interesting to see.
But let's get into the cover because look, we still got to sell comic books here. So who's in the cover? Why it's Darth Vader.
They love to stick Darth Vader on the cover of this thing, even though he does not appear in the comic.
But the ghost of Darth Vader looms over the story, John.
I mean, by that argument, you could put him on the cover every issue. Why not?
Oh, well, you heard him. You heard him. Marvel put him on the cover of every issue, just like Wolverine.
I was going to say, this reminds me a lot of the 90s things. Sales are flagging. Throw Wolverine in there.
But yes, this issue is called The Choice, and up front we do see a Princess Leia split down the middle, half of her the rebel soldier, half of her the senator, and flanked to either side we've got, on the senator's side, Mon Mothma and Admiral Akbar, and on the rebel soldier side we've got a Luke Skywalker with a dirty lime lightsaber and the colors a Han Solo with a purple vest.
Because when we talk about what Akbar's rocking here, he's ready for the discotheque.
I think this particular Akbar might be a Kang the Conqueror in disguise, but there's no way to know for sure.
Well, here's the thing about Marvel Comics. Anyone could be a Kang the Conqueror in disguise. That's how convoluted that guy's whole deal is.
But yeah, he's rocking this purple jumpsuit with a yellow tabard. It's pretty striking.
It really is, I don't know who got their hands on the coloring of this cover, but man, it wild.
Pops. It's very 80s comics coded.
Yes, it is. Even though, I mean, it's always weird when you go from very recognizable things of real live action movie to doing this, and then you're like, no, 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 no. These aren't what
Well,
these characters look like.
especially when we were just coming off of the Infinities comics, right? And
Yeah.
like those are like very like the Dark Horse stuff is very like I don't want to say muted, but very like standard and very like house style. And then we jump back to the 80s and it's like, oh, right. We were just taking swings back then.
Yeah, sorry, George. There's not enough colors in your movie. We're going to have to fix that.
And they sure as hell do.
Oh, God, the colors are all over the place here. Anyway, so, this implies that Leia's going to have a big choice to make.
Yeah.
Which really actually doesn't make much sense to me, but that's okay.
Well, let's get into it, because we start out with everyone's favorite characters who are always important to the plot, R2-D2 and C-3PO.
Yep. Say it with me, folks. It's the R2 catchphrase. Bourvouit?
We love a bourvouit.
They love to use that, which I think is a fine onomatopoeia for the noises that he makes.
I prefer a dudit, but that's just me.
Oh, sure. Yeah, that's good too. Here we've got, and it is basically just, I love the idea that these two are just sitting around going, 3PO is just like, do you hear that, R2? Princess Leia is back. 3PO
here is like a dog who's just inside your front door who like hears your car door closing and that's the signal that it needs to begin to freak out. And 3PO's just like, did you hear that? A door closing. Oh my, a spaceship coming? Does that mean the princess? Oh, goody.
Yes. 3PO scratching at a window.
We already know that if R2-D2 was a dog, he would be some kind of Rottweiler. If 3PO were a breed of dog, what would he be?
He's like a needy... I mean, the Golden Retriever's an obvious thing, right? Because he's gold. But I feel like his spirit is more like a Jack Russell or something like that. Like a needy little dog.
My first go-to was Corgi, but I could see Jack Russell.
Corgi, yeah, that kind of thing where it's like, just the dog is like, oh my god, a person, oh dear,
I went with Corgi specifically because also he can't move very quickly or well.
Yeah, I think Corgi is the correct answer, but it is that he's got little dog energy, even though he's and R2's small, but he's got big dog energy.
Yes, absolutely. But his excitement is, of course, justified because it is Leia. Leia's back,
right.
battle scarred from her time on that one planet with all the slaves.
Yeah, she didn't even change. She's still in the torn up dress.
How long did she just not pack any other clothes? I guess.
I don't know. And who's this other guy getting off the ship with them? Was there another guy there? Oh, okay. Was Dodonna in that issue?
He just hung out in the ship.
Yeah. Dodonna's just like, yeah, let me know if you need me. I'll be napping in the back.
Yeah, exactly.
I love
Guy's got it cushy. Good for him.
Yeah, nobody expects much out of Dodonna, do they?
Yeah, no, he's just chilling at this point.
He kind of fades into the background after the first movie.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, and 3PO's right up, like they're coming off of the landing ramp, and he's like, "Oh, Mon Mothma, Princess Leia, it's me, C-3PO!" Ah!
Yeah, he's got like 3 panels here where he just cannot stop chattering and saying, "Oh my!" And he's like kind of recapping the last few issues, how everyone's been like split up and going on different diplomatic missions.
In case you didn't pick up the other issues, here's what's happening.
Okay, they're going off on diplomatic missions to like get all these different planets into this like alliance of free systems. They're trying to figure out what the next government's going to be after the fall of or quote unquote fall of the Empire.
Right. Yeah. We're starting to realize that as we've talked about, maybe the Empire didn't just all collapse all at once because the Death Star blew up.
And honestly, that's been a thing in Star Wars, like, since, honestly, now. Like, this issue is sort of beginning to tread that ground that will be a rich source of stories, even into the modern era when we get into, like, the Mandalorian era of just, like, there's still enclaves and warlords of the Empire kicking around the galaxy.
It makes sense. Wars don't just stop, boom, over. That's not like that. There's still going to be people who are, I mean, I always think of the Confederate Raiders after the Civil War, where it's like, we didn't surrender. I mean, that's very much what I think of these pockets of empire, of imperial, characters being like.
I mean, you can go into stories in the Pacific Theater in World War II where they're like, there were islands of Japanese imperial soldiers that didn't surrender until like the 60s.
Yeah, there are crazy things like that where it's like, two guys on an island and they literally have to like go get their general out of retirement to tell them the war is over.
Right. And has been over for 20 years.
Well, and you think about that, expand that even greater to space. If you're on outer planets and stuff like that, I mean, I think you see that. That's one of the things I like in when you first start Mandalorian and you meet Werner Herzog's character, and he's got all the stormtroopers in like the tattered, dirty armor because they're not getting, new stuff, but they're still out there holding that planet.
Mm-hmm.
It's a cool idea.
So anyway, Leia's come back from her mission. She's having all these conflicting feelings, and she wants to talk to Luke about it, but Luke's not quite back yet. Mon Mothma's trying to talk to her, but Leia's incredibly distracted.
And remember, everybody, in the interim, at some point, everything moved to Endor. Just accept it and move on.
Right. Where this is all happening on Endor. That's where the rebels are hanging out because Ewoks sell books.
Yeah. They're your new favorite, whether you like it or not.
3PO's like, Master Luke, he's not back yet. But then, what's this? Luke's back.
I wonder if Luke's back yet from his mission. Here he is.
Yeah. And here comes Luke. And what? What's this other ship coming back with Luke Skywalker?
Oh, Christ. Here he
comes. Could it be everyone's favorite character, Rick Duel?
And I mean, once again, Joe Duffy can't resist the sitcom structure of like, hey, it's number one, Luke, and ask your parents for the plush of Pliff. I'm not sure they ever made one, which shocks me actually. But she's like, it's so good to see everybody, and then it's like, Danny.
I do like Danny bringing in Leia into a hug, being like, oh, this will be just like old times. Remember that one issue we had together where you hated me and we had an adventure? It was great.
Remember, guys? Remember?
Leia's thought bubble here. To think I was looking forward to seeing him, meaning Luke, and he brought this Zeltron man trap along with him. It's funny because she wants to have sex with Luke.
Yeah, that is her whole character.
Yeah,
basically. I mean, to like a dangerous psychotic degree, though.
But again, I think it's mostly because at this point Luke is the only man to resist her charms, and so now that he's become unattainable, she wants him even more.
This has awakened something in her where she's like, God, he's even hotter because he doesn't want me.
Right,
like,
exactly.
Oh, honey.
We reunion with Rick Duel and everyone's favorite not Greedo, Cheeto. Keep your eyes on Cheeto. We'll see how he does the rest of the issue.
Yeah. And then of course, who else is on the ship here? Because Luke's like, hey, be careful. Rick's got precious cargo on that ship. And yes, it's our old friend Kiro, who's in a box of water.
Well, because remember, in the last time we saw Luke and this crew, they had just disarmed a universe-destroying booby trap, and it was due to Kiro's selflessness and knocking Luke out at the last minute that they were able to accomplish this. So he kind of sacrificed himself in body, if not mortality, to accomplish that.
Yes. And I do like the whole thing where they have some dialogue here about like, is that here? No, I think maybe it's later where they talk about like, we saved the entire universe. They're like, that's hyperbolic. It's like, nope, really was.
That's what it
all
was.
All existence on the line.
No, what we have here instead is a bunch of these purple-clad rebels. This is I guess the team here is the medical team, or who are these purple guys?
Well, they clearly work for Luthor Corp because they're dressed like Lex Luthor. Undeniable.
But they're the ones bringing Kiro away to the medical facility.
Yeah.
And the Ewoks are kind of pushing up, being like, oh, good to eat?
Yeah. Never forget, Ewoks eat people.
Never forget.
No, it's just always they're adorable. No, they eat people.
Yeah.
They sneak on people. They ate a bunch of stormtroopers off screen, guys.
Luke's line here is just like, well, we had to bring him to Endor because this was the closest place we could get to that had advanced medical facilities. It's like, Endor? The woods?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, that doesn't make any sense.
I mean, do you have the big, like, rebel medical frigate? That's the place where Luke got his hand replaced?
Yeah, that's where I was thinking in Empire. That's where you would take him.
But wouldn't that be in orbit?
Yeah.
Because even if they were to believe, like, earlier issues of this comic, hiding in a sun somewhere?
Well, because what we haven't seen, this is what I'm saying, where it's like this all happened off panel, I guess, off page, is presumably this book is implying they've moved the entire Rebel fleet and resources to Endor, right?
I mean, we do sort of establish at the beginning of Return of the Jedi that there really isn't a centralized Rebel base anymore because we have the whole, like, Rebel fleet amassing near Sullust line from the Emperor. Right. And so I guess now that the Rebel fleet has, like, the spot of their victory at Endor has become their seat of power, I suppose.
I guess, but it's a weird choice. I understand the, like, convenience of that, but it's more just like, well, that's kind of where we had the final battle, so there, I guess?
Yeah. I mean...
It feels like if they've won this decisive victory, couldn't they kind of pick where they want to be?
It would be like the UN setting up in the rubble of Berlin.
Yeah. What's going on with Coruscant? Unclear, right?
Coruscant doesn't exist at this point, yeah.
Right, but it should be. That's always the big question.
The West End RPG supplement that introduced Coruscant isn't published until 1987.
Yeah. So there is no... And I will say, whoever came up with that idea is very smart to be like, wouldn't there be like a big capital planet? And you're like, oh yeah.
At this time, there is reference to a planet called the Imperial Core World that will eventually be named Coruscant. So, like,
there you go.
The concept of, like, an Imperial throne world exists, but it doesn't have any, like, shape or substance quite yet.
Right, yeah.
So anyway, yeah, they're shuffling over with Kiro. They're like, this is where they, on this next page, where they say, like, oh, you're being a little hyperbolic that he saved the universe. And Luke's like, no, that's what happened.
It was the whole universe and, all of existence. And Flip is like, agreed, young man.
But then Luke and Leia are like, look, we need to talk. Okay, let's go get changed into our action figure costumes.
Yeah. Oh boy. I mean, it really does feel like they're trying to sell toys, right? Where it's just like, make sure they change costumes a lot, okay?
Luke goes into his Return of the Jedi blacks, and Leia is in, like, this combination of... She's got the hair from the Ewok village scene in Return of the Jedi. She's wearing kind of her Hoth outfit. It's like a white jumpsuit with, like, a blue undersuit.
Yeah, it's almost like they've combined a bunch of Leia looks into one here.
I don't think it's a bad look.
No, I think she looks fine. But it's just like, I got to let my hair down and put on my soldier outfit.
And that's maybe thematic, because while they're hanging out here in the treetop villages, what do the Ewoks think about, like, all these people just living in their villages?
I mean, that's another thing, too. It's not like they've constructed... They're just like, hey, we live here now.
Yeah.
This Luke Skywalker asshole just told me he lives in my house now. What is this shit?
Yeah. Anyway, the Ewok playset now available at Sears.
Big time available at Sears Energy here. Yeah, Jesus Christ.
But Luke and Leia have to have a conversation about the future and, like, what that means to them. And mostly this conversation breaks down to Leia feeling conflicted because she is basically confessing to Luke that, like, she is now having to go back into the role of, like, princess and senator, but she's the princess of what's her line here? Sometimes I feel so purposeless. A joke. I'm a princess of a people who were annihilated and a senator from a ruling body that was disbanded by the Empire a long time ago. Nowadays, I listen to myself speaking phrases and engaging in endless diplomacy, hours of talking about nothing, to a bunch of people who just want to hear in 6 different ways why it's to their advantage to join the alliance now that the hard part is over.
Yeah. Once again, I would say this also exposes, though, one of the key problems that the rebellion is having right now, which is they don't know what they're trying to build. Like
Yeah.
they brought down the Empire and they have nothing to replace it with. And so it's
Right.
like, yes, you are correct, Leia. You don't know you're a senator from something that's been disbanded, from a princess from a planet that doesn't exist anymore, and we haven't defined what you are now. So everyone is kind of in this position of like, what are we? What even is the government? What is the ruling government of this world?
Well, and it's been in a couple of dropped lines here and there, mostly from like Mon Mothma and Akbar over the last few issues, of just like, we don't want to reestablish something that could just as easily fall to corruption like the Republic did into the Empire, right? So
Correct.
the problem with so many revolutions, historically speaking, is that like there's
yeah.
all this fervor to overthrow a system that is unjust or is corrupt or is punishing to a majority of people, at least how they perceive it. And then when they overthrow that system, what replaces it is almost always this like chaotic jumble of charismatic figures who have ideas, but not necessarily the bureaucratic wherewithal to put a system in place that can function toward those ideals.
Well, it's very true, right? It's always easier to destroy than to build.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, tearing something down, we're all against this. And the other thing, too, especially in this, where you're talking about all these disparate planets, right? It's like we all agree that's bad, but what do we agree is good? Well, now, wait a minute, right? So everybody's going to have a different idea of what we should be doing. It was easy to say, well, it shouldn't be that. Okay,
Yeah.
well, what should it be? Well, I don't know.
Yeah, and Luke kind of brings up this point, and this brings us to a little bit of Jedi philosophy here, when he says, "What will come now will be the test. Can we and the other leaders, acting fairly, really set up a system of government that will actually function and be better than the Empire?"
Right.
No.
I mean, I think the franchise has answered that. But
Yeah.
the thing about this too is that's great advice, Luke. But Luke doesn't have to do that. Luke's not a diplomat or a leader. I mean, that's the thing about our triumvirate of heroes. Luke and Han can aid, but they were never going to be the guys to make those decisions.
And Luke is even more gun shy about this because on the next page he brings up like, but we, especially us too, Luke and Leia, have to be especially careful about that because when a Skywalker gets involved in galactic politics, it can end with Darth Vader.
Yeah. Well, we both have talked about how much we like Claudia Gray's novel Bloodline. That is a whole book about that. But I also do like where it's like, and look, kids up in the sky. Why is that the image of Darth Vader?
Look, there's one thing that James Earl Jones was good at. It was being a creepy sky ghost dad.
There's literally that Simpsons joke where Lisa sees all the James Earl Jones in the sky, where it's Darth Vader going Luke, and then it's Mufasa going Simba, and then my favorite is the last one is James Earl Jones just with headphones on going, "This is CNN."
CNN.
And also, I do like the whole thing about our father didn't set out intending to become Darth Vader. We actually don't know anything about Anakin Skywalker really at this point. Other than he was a Jedi who turned into Darth Vader.
We have context clues from the movies that indicate, at least from Obi-Wan's point of view, is that he was seduced by the dark side by the Emperor, right? So we can at least presume that that was not a choice necessarily that Anakin went about making by himself. He was persuaded and manipulated.
Yes. That is true. But the idea of like what he was like prior to that is complete. It hasn't been defined at all.
No, we have like vague notions from early drafts
like,
about what Lucas
I like that guy.
Yeah.
But like on film, it's kind of just like, well, I mean, there's literally, of course, the period of time where he wasn't even going to be Darth Vader, but
sure.
If you read that first draft of Star Wars 2.
Right. So they continue this conversation being like, obviously the Empire wouldn't have been what it is without Darth Vader's influence. So,
Right.
like, can we even trust ourselves to help establish this new government? And Luke is coming from...
I was going to say, I also like Luke's point about, like, and also nobody actually knows that Vader, only I was witness to Vader doing good with this last moments. Is kind of an interesting point, which is true. Like, to the world at large, that guy was a piece of shit who got what was coming to him. Like, only Luke saw him do anything good.
Right. Luke's line here is, no one really cares that Vader reformed at the end, that he was instrumental in breaking the reign of the Emperor. They only remember what he was and what he did. I was horrified when I learned the truth, and I know you were too. People will probably learn about it eventually, but I don't intend to go around announcing our parentage in public just yet.
Luke isn't going like, my dad was Darth Vader and you all misunderstood him, okay?
I mean, to the public at large, and obviously this character doesn't exist yet, but if the two of them announce themselves as, like, Skywalkers, right? Yeah. Then you can pretty easily publicly claim that you are the children of... Anakin Skywalker, famed Jedi Knight, because again, most of the galaxy doesn't know that Anakin became Darth Vader.
Well, no, because Luke is walking around as a Skywalker, of course. Right.
But then they can also claim that their mom is Padme Amidala, the famed senator and queen of Naboo, who tried to fight against the Clone Wars.
Which is a thing that not existing in the canon at this moment is a key missing factor of this conversation, right?
Right. Is who our mom was is important.
Right, because that's who Leia's going to want to end up modeling herself on, right?
Yeah, and honestly, Luke, too. Though Luke has a bigger, stickier problem that isn't addressed here, which is okay, maybe Luke isn't involved in the larger galactic politics, but he's still sort of making himself responsible for rebuilding the Jedi Order.
Well,
and that's its own larger responsibility.
And this comic in particular has really made it clear that Luke is so much of the face of the rebellion, right? That's the man who destroyed the Death Star. And now, I'm sure word's going to spread, that's the guy that took down the Emperor and Darth Vader.
Yeah, everyone knows that Luke Skywalker walked into the second Death Star and he walked out dragging the corpse of Darth Vader.
I mean, it would just be like, that guy rules. This guy basically single-handedly won the war in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty wild. It's an interesting conversation that just due to the limits of this comic and the limits of a lot of the stuff that we're talking about hasn't been defined by Star Wars yet, opens an interesting debate. I do think the other thing here where Leia says, how do I reconcile being both a figurehead and a fighter, actually is something that the sequel trilogies pick up on, which is she really isn't a politician. She went back to being a general. I mean, that is sort of where she feels most comfortable.
Right. And Luke's line here is just you don't. You just are. The conflict will end up resolving itself, which he's wrong, but that's okay.
Yeah, they're wrong about a lot of stuff.
But anyway, enough of this. Let's go check on Kiro, see how he's doing.
This weird POV shot looking through the water is very interesting.
Yeah, I dug it. It was a fun artistic, the images slowly forming from underneath the water.
Yeah, he's coming to underwater because he's a water creature. Mm-hmm. And we'll come to find out here that he's still very weak, so he has to stay in the water. Yeah,
he can't even survive for a second out in the air, which before he was able to walk around a little bit before he started suffocating, but now he needs a rebreather all the time.
Right. Yeah. And that is, as always shown, just a big glass bowl of water that sits on his head.
Sure. I mean, look, let's not get too scientific about this.
Well, I was going to say I have questions about how they're breathing, and do they have gills, and are the gills in their head where we would breathe with our nose and mouth? Or,
I mean, he clearly doesn't have gills.
I know, so it's just they just breathe water, but still functioning like a human. Okay, anyway, doesn't matter. And he's like, hey man, I'm just happy to be alive. I love this pose of him with the arm up on the side of the tank, yeah man, whatever, I'm alive, so it's all cool.
Yeah. But we have, this is
You
where
know
it's
how
like,
Kiro be.
hmm?
You know how Kiro be.
You know how Kiro be. But we go into a little bit of a recap about what happened, and Luke is like, okay, so tell me exactly what happened, because you disabled this ancient planetary doomsday device with no knowledge of how it worked.
Oh, hell yeah, man. Oh, hell
And
yeah.
Kiro goes on to explain that, like, he was down there in the darkness and he sensed just how to do it. And Luke is like, huh, you sensed how to do that, huh?
Yeah,
interesting.
Man. Yeah. I like the idea of a real cocky Kiro. No, I do. You know, I do what I do when I do what I do.
I mean, he does get pretty cocky here, because Luke just tentatively is like, do you think it's possible that you were guided by the Force? And Kiro immediately latches onto that.
Oh, yeah, probably.
He says, the Force? You mean the mystic energy field that your Jedi training has enabled you to sense and control? Yes, I'm sure of it. I use the Force.
Yeah, I do love this. Like, you mean the Force? And then the blah, blah, and this and that, and it. Yeah, that's what I meant, Kiro. Yeah, that would be the Force.
Yes, of course I use the Force. Luke, the Force is very powerful. You must teach me to sense it better and then use it more. I will be a Jedi Knight too, and we can...
I just like the idea of like, yeah, hey, Luke, now that you mention it, being a Jedi is awesome.
And Luke shuts him down.
Yeah. Hey, whoa, yeah. Yeah, he's just like, what does he say? He says, I'm sorry, but that's the one thing I can't do. Believe me, it's for your own safety. It's like, I mean, he's not wrong. Luke is like, look, I just figured this thing out. I'm not ready to be taking on students, you know?
Yeah. Yoda, I ain't.
Right, yeah. It's like, I've still got a lot of questions. He's going to be the teacher who's just a chapter ahead in the book of the class, you know?
Right, yeah. But when he gets denied, Kiro proceeds to freak the F out.
Oh, yeah. The fuck, man? Yeah, which another indication that maybe this guy shouldn't be trained to be a Jedi.
Yeah, look, when you have a Jedi Master being confronted by a student whose immediate reaction to being told no is to, like, go on a tirade about how all of his people are dead and the only thing he can do now is try to, like, become a warrior to prove that he's good enough. It's like, maybe you're doing this for the wrong reasons, bud.
This sounds like some people I knew. Let's see, what would they do? The Sith?
Yeah, sounds familiar.
Yeah, it sounds like a few characters from Star Wars who are usually on the dark side of the Force.
Yeah, so this might be the start of something. We'll see.
And he basically is like, you fucking owe me, man.
Yeah.
Like, you have to. And even Leia's like, well, you gotta you know. And then he's
Kiro,
like, whatever.
Please, don't be angry. Try to understand. The Force is very dangerous. It's different for Luke. And Kiro's like, the only thing different here is me. I have no home and no purpose and no friends either. Get away from me. And he just, like, dives back down into a swimming pool.
Which is, it's drawn very well, but just the idea of that actually happening would be so awkward because he's just in like a tank. And so
yeah, if we go back a page, you can see that he's in just like a large, I don't know, probably like 10 foot by 10 foot pool that is like maybe up to his like lower rib cage in like depth. So when and it's perfectly clear. So when he dives back down into this to sulk, like they can all see him just like curling up and not looking at him.
How awkward that is. Like he's just right there underwater pouting. You know, it's really funny to me to just imagine him being like, And yeah, it's just like, okay, man, we'll talk to you later.
Bye. Meanwhile,
Admiral Akbar and Mon Mothma are talking to just the weirdest cadre of, aliens and such.
Yeah, we got like a Trandoshan in here. There's a Jawa. I see an Aqualish. There's Cousin It is here. A bunch of Pliffs. Max Rebo's hanging out. We've got a few Ewoks. And what are those little cat things that turn into big cat things when they hit puberty?
Oh, God. What are those things called? Yep. And they just go.
Yeah. They're hanging out here. The Minotaur from the Maze is here.
Yeah. So, well, what I like is that this is, like you talk about, sort of meant to be the culmination of all the people they've talked to. It's like, well, we saw them talk to some of these people, but presumably other people talk to these other people, and it really is just like they were just told the artist, like, just draw as many aliens as you can.
Yeah, we got a weird pig guy in the background. We got some Biff here, and then there's just a bald guy.
Yes.
But Admiral Akbar and Mon Mothma are here to talk to these people, being like, and we are here now to start this first conference of the Free Peoples.
Yes. And first off, what the hell is this group? You know, like, right? Because
that's like sort of what they're talking about. It's just like, look, we got to start making some decisions, and one of those first decisions is like how we go about governing ourselves. And those of you who are here to make those sorts of decisions.
Well, because you get the whole thing here, right? Is like where he's just going. He even says it. He's like, how do we handle things like taxation and adjudication, and how do we get into legality, administration of interplanetary laws, he says. And it is like, but the problem with this is like, that's all like boring.
Yeah.
And the idea of like, whoa, that's a lot all at once too.
John, are you saying the taxation of trade routes isn't a riveting beat upon which to start a Star Wars story?
I may be saying that, yes.
But it's fine. The pod racing scene is pretty sweet.
And that lightsaber duel, nice. Yeah. And so it is just like, but this is already, I feel like they're off to a bad start. It's very nice that they want to get everybody's input on this, but like, who's in charge here?
Mon Mothma and Akbar,
I guess.
But even Mon Mothma says at the end here, it's like, as for now, everyone had best be present, or we'll have no alternative but to assume that by their absence, they forfeit their right to vote. So basically telling these people that just like, we're going to be making big galactic level decisions, and anyone who's not here just has to go with it.
Exactly. And that's going to lead to trouble.
It's going to lead to trouble because, like, okay, so does that mean your laws apply to the people who aren't here?
I mean, that seems to be what she implies, right?
No taxation without representation.
Yeah, but but then her response is basically just like, we gave you the opportunity, you didn't send representation.
Yeah.
Which is not invalid. It's like, we did try to reach everybody. Just because you what are we supposed to do? Nothing because you didn't want to come to the meeting?
I guess.
It's tricky stuff.
Yeah.
And once again, it's so disparate. We're not talking about, the United States where, at least for the most part, it's a giant landmass. We're talking about, a huge galaxy full of planets that are distanced apart. And you're just like, man, how do you even begin to approach something like that?
Yeah, and maybe that, like, talking about galactic trade consortiums is not necessarily the most riveting thing for a comic book. Like, could I read a novel about that? Yeah, absolutely. I have.
Oh, there are several. Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
it's called The Foundation Cycle by Isaac Asimov, and I love it.
Yeah. I mean, there's also an entire TV show called Babylon 5 that you can also watch. But yeah, I mean, yes, they are stepping into thorny issues, but then the comics but also then just steer out, man. I can't believe they even got this far into it, honestly.
What I do like about this particular issue is that it goes to this macro, like, big galactic level politics situation, and then we go to the micro of both of these issues of what do you do in the aftermath of a revolution, right? One is this big conceptual, like, what are we even doing here? And then down to the micro, we get to this next page, and Luke and Leia are having this conversation about, like, what are our, like, rebel soldiers who don't have a fight anymore even doing? Of course, this being a metaphor for, like, Leia's own struggles.
Well, because you got a bunch of guys wandering around this Ewok village.
And then some of those guys playing a game of cards with Rick Duel. Always a bad idea.
Oh God, I mean Rick Duel is just trouble, man.
Every time.
That guy is just trouble, and you just got to. I don't know what you got to do with him, but you can't have him around.
Because, Rick Duel, Danny, and Cheeto are here playing cards with a few just layabout rebel pilots. I say layabouts. They don't have anything to do, really, and that's part of the problem.
It's an interesting depiction because you're like, they're rebel pilots, right? What's the rebellion? I mean, like, are they in... Is there a military of some sort?
That's a big part of the Rebels TV show, actually. And part of it that I really like is, as that show goes on, there's this evolution of our main characters are part of this rebel cell. And that at a certain point in the show, there is this moment where it's like, well, we're not just this like little ragtag team anymore. We're part of this larger rebellion. We have to accept a chain of command if we want any sort of legitimacy, right?
Right. Well, that's one of the interesting things about the character of Saw Gerrera, right? Is the guy who doesn't.
Right. And is just a revolutionary huffing gasoline.
I love that psycho. I love him. I just love him. He's crazy, and he also kind of loves being like Andor implies that he likes being crazy. Yeah. Anyway, but then the other side of that conversation is now, okay, the rebellion is won, in quotes, essentially. What do we do with all these guys? Are they soldiers now in an army of some sort? And I mean, my question goes back: is somebody paying them?
Yeah,
and what?
Clearly, pay is sort of a problem here because we get this scene of Rick Duel being like, "Oh, looks like I won again. Sucks to suck, rebel guys."
Fucking cheater.
And I mean, that's what the rebel here who just lost says. It's like, it's because Rick makes some thing about it's like, it's not too bad when it's free money. And the rebel guy here is like, it's not free. You're going to pay for all of it right now. How long do you think I was going to sit here and play with a cheat? Now, we don't see any evidence that Rick Duel has actually cheated at this game, but we can assume that he has.
I was going to say, the only evidence I have is literally his whole vibe. Everything about him says he's a cheater.
His name, Rick Duel, sort of tells me all I need to know.
He's just trash. Like but I do like that he's also found the way these guys are drawn, the scumbags and the rebels. Of course, he's also found the like, hey, you cheating?
These are the rebels who agreed to play a card game with Rick Duel. So
yeah. And he goes, I also like Rick Duel's responses. I wasn't cheating. I cheat against good players. I won your money fair and square. So now you're a liar and a cheat. I won't play with you again. Give me back my cash. And then Kiro gets involved.
Yeah, Kiro kind of leaps in. He's wearing his aqua armor again. And he's like, Rick is proud to be a good cheat. When he succeeds, he always admits it. He would not lie about such a thing, and not to such a petty man as you. So, Kiro, not helping.
No, way escalating the situation.
Then
keep out of this, fish man, is a good line.
The one who really escalates, though, here is Cheeto when he pulls a gun.
It takes it to 100, I mean, my God, why?
And he does so because he's defending Kiro's honor.
Yeah. But man, don't be that guy, because what happens, he immediately gets shot by this other guy.
Man, Rhodians have such a bad track record when it comes to pulling guns on guys.
I do like the idea that maybe that's something specific in their species, is they are quick to pull a weapon.
Yeah, because
our examples we know are that.
Are Cheeto and Greedo. And Cheeto gets Greedoed because after he's pulled his gun, this rebel pilot immediately, just without another word, whips out his pistol and zaps him.
Yep. And I thought, oh shit, they just killed Cheeto.
And even one of the other rebels is like, are you crazy? And Cheeto, takes a shot to the chest, goes tumbling off. They were up on the platform in one of the Ewok villages. They go tumbling to the floor. Thankfully, Luke and Leia are down there, and they're like, oh no, Cheeto. And Luke's like, don't worry, I got him. And he lifts him and stops his fall.
The casual way they draw it, though, is Luke just one hand, like, yeah, I got him.
Yeah. It's all right, Leia. His fall is broken.
Yeah. But The blaster wound to the chest is going to be a different problem.
Yeah. The fact that Cheeto's even still holding onto his gun is pretty impressive, honestly.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And now everyone's going to pull guns.
Yeah. So back up on the platform, all the rebels have pulled guns. Rick Duel's pulled a gun. When they point guns at Rick Duel, Danny goes nuts.
Of course, yeah. Hey, man, that passion goes in all directions, right? She's got romantic passion and violent passion, apparently.
Because, like, she clearly has a gun on her hip. She doesn't draw it. She just lunges at this guy who's armed.
Yeah. And this guy is lined, "No one told me Zeltrons can fight."
No one expects a Zeltron to come at your throat.
She does, though. And then they're grappling on the ground, and meanwhile, another guy's got a gun on Kiro.
Because Kiro's trying to stop all of this. Meanwhile, on the ground, Leia's watching all of this, and then the Ewoks are pulling out spears and arrows, being like, we gotta kill these guys?
I guess we're murdering now. Okay, yep, here we go. Leia wants us to take them out.
Leia makes the Ewoks back down, but then there's a Zark that makes her turn her head suddenly.
Mm-hmm.
And what's this? Honestly, blaster fire from on high as blasters are just being shot willy-nilly.
Honestly, this is also somewhat realistic in that you've got a bunch of soldiers now with no war to fight, but nowhere to go. They're not going back home, whatever that means. So there's a lot of just like pent-up aggression.
Totally. So Luke was tending to Cheeto, but he has to stop to like try to get in the middle of this, and he lunges up onto the tree platform here.
We talk about the decision now of what Luke's costume is, which is it's the all black from Return of the Jedi, except white boots.
Yeah, and like I liked it when it was the white boots and the white tabard, but we sort of lost the tabard here.
Just the white boots is weird to me.
Yeah, but anyway, he's jumping like Super Mario. He's getting up onto this platform.
There he goes.
He backflips up. Actually, I loved the dynamism of this panel, actually. Yep. It actually shows like how Luke accomplishes this pretty smoothly.
Something we've been kind of hard on the book for in the past has been a lack of like, wait, how did he get from, they want to put, but here you can actually follow him up to the thing, then flipping up around. Yeah.
Yeah. And then he busts his lightsaber out and starts deflecting blaster fire.
Which is pretty cool, but I also just like the idea that this thing went south fast. There's a lot of blaster fire.
And he's deflecting shots, but he's doing it in such a way that he's not hitting anybody, and he's disarming people, and all this time he's like, hey, settle the hell down.
Yeah. Don't make me pull this rebellion around. I swear to God, I will turn right around.
To the point where the guy that's grappling with Danny, who was the guy who shot Cheeto, like sucker punches her, then gets up and runs away. Luke does a springing flip to cut him off.
Hey, look at that.
Luke's like, hey, stop, everyone, please.
And then Rick Duel's like, he started it.
Yeah, Rick Duel, God, this little slime ball. It's just like, he's the one who started it, kid.
Yeah.
So let him have it, just like he did to Cheeto.
Yeah, kill him, Luke. Kill him.
Do it.
Yeah.
Rick Duel is not Emperor Palpatine in terms of his sway of making Skywalker murder a guy in cold blood.
He really isn't. But also, it just seems like, maybe this is further evidence that we shouldn't have Rick Duel around. Get out of here. And Kiro is just like, finally, seemingly having turned around on his opinion of Luke, is like, Rick, shut the fuck up. Yeah. But I also like that he's like, you're better than this, Rick. And I'm like, no, you're not.
He's really not, Kiro.
Yeah. He's like, you're not that kind of guy, Rick. Yes, he is.
Absolutely, he is.
Yeah.
But Kiro is like, Luke is wise and merciful in spite of all his powers. We still let that coward live, and the coward will learn a great lesson from it.
I don't appreciate the coward talk.
We must all be very patient together and not become angry and try to listen to our minds open and our mouths closed. Right, Luke? And Luke is, this is like a weird turn for Kiro. This, like, compared to what he was like as a
Based
screaming,
on
petulant child earlier.
it almost feels like this is a little tacked on to this. Like this needed to be a whole issue arc for Kiro to go from where he is to where he was to where he is now. Like, because I don't really follow why. I mean, like what Luke did here was cool, but I don't know why this specifically, this moment alone, turned him a complete 180 from where he was like, "Fuck you, man," earlier.
Because he has a lightsaber out and he's cool.
I mean, yeah, but that's always what he's like, you know? And then I really love the Leia thought bubble, like, maybe this was actually a good thing.
Yeah, like, obviously it sucks that Cheeto got shot in the chest, and maybe he's dead, but if this cooled Kiro down...
Unclear what's going on with Cheeto at the moment.
I mean, it's tough to tell with a Rodian.
Yeah. I don't know. Where can they get shot and be okay? I don't know. Not wherever Han shot Greedo. Anyway, she's like, yeah, okay. And then back to meanwhile. Literally, it does say meanwhile this time.
We cut back to Mon Mothma and Akbar, and Mon Mothma's just like, well, we've made a decision. I kind of feel bad about it. And Akbar's like, well, I also, but we had to abide by the ruling, even if it pains us.
This is how it goes.
And so Mon Mothma declares, by their absence from the council, Luke, Leia, Chewbacca, Lando, and Han have lost their right to help us govern.
And once again, I must say, the only real loss there is Leia, right? And also, this is insane, because Leia is addressing the situation where she's, kind of acting as a leader.
Yeah,
I just love the idea. They missed one meeting. You're out, lady. You're out of here.
You missed the vote because a guy in front of you got shot in the chest, and that means you're not allowed to participate from here on out.
I know, that's so weird. And also, like Han Solo's really going to be pissed off that, oh no, I can't help govern.
Yeah. I mean, Lando would probably regret it, but it's probably for the best that he's not helping.
Yeah, actually, I thought we all agreed not to let Lando in to begin with, but
And Chewbacca is just like, I don't need this smoke. Why are you even... don't include me.
Well, Chewbacca wasn't going to be invited. Yeah, I do like that. But yeah, it is also, man, immediately this government is harsh. You miss one meeting, you got no voice.
You're out.
Because, I don't understand. Why is Princess Leia separate from Mon Mothma? Like, what is this voting body, too? Right? The idea of, I thought, they are representatives of the same thing.
Yeah. Because, it's not like Leia would be the representatives of Alderaan?
That doesn't exist anymore. So, yeah, I mean, it just seems like I thought, yeah, once again, it's also the right to govern. But once again, govern what?
The Council of Free Peoples.
Yeah, which is what? I don't know.
Yeah. So that's the issue. And it does end on this weird, okay, so?
Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't land with the dramatic impact it seems it's going for, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I'm guessing it's supposed to feel like this, oh no, all of our main heroes aren't going to be included in the big decisions. And, were they ever?
Leia, kind of, but nobody else.
Yeah, I mean,
Jesus Christ, how can we trust her? She missed a meeting. I mean, we can't trust that. So irresponsible. Am I right? I
mean, that is where New Republic Leia sort of ends up, is just she keeps shirking responsibilities as a quote unquote senator. And so eventually
that's after years.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's so funny. Anyway, hey, next week, you guys, we're going to Wookiee World.
Wookiee World, hooray! I got the fast pass.
All right. Welcome to Wookiee World, everybody.
What they don't tell you about Wookiee World is all the tunnels under Wookiee World where all the weird shit happens.
Oh, yeah.
We call that the Shadowlands, and we don't go there.
Yeah, don't ask about it. Don't even think about it. Forget you ever heard anything about it, okay?
You're not supposed to acknowledge it. You're supposed to stay in character while in Wookiee World.
Absolutely. So, yeah, Wookiee World, a.k.a. as we know it, Kashyyyk.
Look, we're going to Kashyyyk next month or next week, and it'll be Kashyyyk.
Yep. Kids, pack your bags. We're going to Kashyyyk. Anyway, there you go. That's this week's issue. And if you want more from us, you can head over to our Patreon page, which is patreon.com/punchupent. That's punchupent. Get cool exclusive bonus content, as well as help out all the shows on the Punch Up Entertainment Network. Your support is greatly appreciated, of course.
Greatly
Where else
appreciated.
can you check us out, Gergoni?
YouTube. Because we also appreciate you over on YouTube. Because on YouTube, it's easier for you to appreciate us. Because all you have to do is click that like button, hit that subscribe button, maybe ring that bell for notifications every time we drop a new thing, which is constantly. And
yeah, we're actually dropping even more content. We're almost to every single day content.
Some would say too much, but not us.
Never us. What? You're too entertained? I don't want to hear it.
But yes, YouTube is also the best way to enjoy this show because you can read the comic along with us and see Admiral Akbar's wild stylings on the cover of this issue. But while you're there, please let us know in the comments below, how do you think it's going to work out with Kiro? I think this kid's got a one-way ticket to the dark side and there's no going back about it. Or will they just forget this happened altogether? You decide.
I'm putting my bets on the ladder there.
But do appreciate all of you, however you enjoy all of what we do at the Punch Up Entertainment Network. But I think that's going to do it for us this week. As always, I have been Mike Gergoni.
I'm John Campbell.
And remember, may the panel be with you.